Hello, Internet. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
The University of Utah takes on Northwestern at the Las Vegas Bowl. Let's break it down.
In the college football playoff, the Sugar Bowl is set between Washington and Texas. Who do we got winning the game and why?
In the college football playoff, the Rose Bowl is set between Michigan and Alabama. Who do we got winning and why?
In the NBA, the Utah Jazz may be on the move. Where are they going and is it going to happen?
In the MLB, let's discuss Shohei Ohtani's contract, as well as update you on some free agent signings.
All that and more. My name is Darren. That is AJ, and this is the DNA Sports Recap.
Roll the intro.
What's going on, AJ?
What up, buddy?
How are you, man?
I'm doing good again. How are you?
I am living the dream, man. It's been gorgeous these last couple of days here in Utah.
Yes, sir. It has been so nice outside. If you guys are not from Utah, you're missing out.
Yeah,
30 degrees and sunny.
42 and sunny.
Oh, man, it's been cold, but it's been nice.
Yeah, 42 and sunny was what it was today. It was nice.
I like it.
The inversion was blown out a couple days ago.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
Can see the mountains. Gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, well, before we get into it, folks, let's go ahead and cheers to you.
I'm going to need more.
Nice.
And cheers to you, my friends.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump on into it. Let's first talk a little bit about the University of Utah, man. They may not be the season we wanted, but they were bowl eligible, unlike other teams in Utah.
Yes, sir. I mean, it's a good thing. You know, to end up at the Las Vegas Bowl, the good news is it's only 5.5 hours away from Salt Lake City. So
yeah, you're going to this one, aren't you?
I am, absolutely.
Nice.
Yep, I will be there. So it's a nice drive down for Utah fans. It's good to see them with a little bit of postseason play. Again, not the season we wanted, not the bowl game we wanted, but we'll take it. At least we get to see our team play one more game this season.
Absolutely. So the Utes are going to take on Northwestern in the Vegas Bowl. Utes are favored by 7 points, and the over-under line is 42.5. Why don't you break down this matchup for us?
All right, man. So it looks like Northwestern currently has the 121st ranked offense, averaging 305 yards per game. They also have the 42nd ranked defense, allowing 351 per game. Utah has the 84th ranked offense, just about 360 yards per game, and they currently have the 17th ranked defense, allowing 308 yards per game. I think the key statistic that kind of jumps out to me is the rushing defense for Utah versus the rushing offense for Northwestern.
Okay.
Utah's number 4 in rushing defense currently in the country, and Northwestern is 117 in rushing offense. So it kind of tells you this is kind of a one-sided matchup. If Northwestern can't throw the football over top,
right,
they're probably not going to have much success running it. Utah is going to be out. They are missing, you know, some key people this week. Sione Vaki obviously declared for the draft, so he, you know, a big time quarterback for us that we relied on for coverage, and we'll definitely be missing him this week against Northwestern.
Right.
Other guys, other big names that are out are Keaton Bills, the offensive lineman, just declared for the draft. Mikey Matthews, obviously our stud wide, you know, slot receiver. He's obviously transferring out. And then Devon Vele is also declaring for the draft. So those are some of the big names that had huge impacts for the Utes all season long. We're going to be missing those guys for sure during this game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, Bryson Barnes did declare for the draft, which we covered last week, but he is playing in this one.
Bryson Barnes did enter the transfer portal, not declare for the draft.
I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. Not enter the transfer portal.
Yeah. But you are correct. Yeah, he is going to be playing for the Utes here at the Las Vegas Bowl. And he's still got some good offensive talent next to him. We still got Jaquindon Jackson in this one, Jalen Glover. I do think that they're going to let Bryson Barnes rear back and throw the ball up the field.
Yeah.
I think it could be very similar to that Florida game where, you know, first shot down, he's rearing back and trying to get 60 or 70. This is kind of like, this is one last audition for Bryson Barnes to kind of get some more transfer portal offers, I think. Even though he maybe has a team lined up, you know, to put him on tape one more time is going to do nothing but help Bryson Barnes for sure.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And also in the modern day, man, that's just a little bit more NIL money coming his way if he balls out in a bowl game. You know, on that, I do want to say this about the players that are leaving. I don't blame them for not playing in this one. I think if you're declaring for the draft and you're entering the transfer portal, the last thing you want to do is risk injury in the Vegas Bowl.
Absolutely.
So I mean, if it's different, it would be different if it was a New Year's Six Bowl or if it was part of the college football playoff. Then yeah, I can understand having them want to be there, but really just really shows how great it is the fact that Bryson Barnes is playing, even though he's declared to go into the portal. So
such a stud, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Kind of like we said last week in our video where we talked about the transfer portal, really kind of shows you the character and the kind of person that Bryson Barnes is. I really hope that he ends up somewhere awesome and we can keep watching him further his football career.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now as far as the Northwestern, actually they were projected to only win 3 games this season, following up the hazing scandal that caused Pat Fitzgerald to get fired this summer. So there wasn't a whole lot of expectations on Northwestern this year. So they're definitely going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder. It's kind of, very much similar to what we talk about Washington being disrespected all season long. That's pretty much how these guys feel on that. They did come into this pretty hot. They've won 3 in a row coming into this one. However, they are 6-10 in their bowl games. So that's not a good look for them.
No, but I mean, a 3-0 to win 3 games in a row and come in with some good momentum, they're going to need it. This is, even with Utah missing some of their top talent, this is still a very, very talented Utah football team. Bryson Barnes is our starting quarterback. He was named team captain for a reason. He's going to be out there leading these guys on the offense. They're going to be looking to put some points on the board. The defense is going to be fantastic as always. I think they're going to be able to stuff this team. Talent levels on these 2 programs is very different. Utah is was a top tier Pac-12 team for the last 2-3 years. So they got some good transfers. They got some good recruits. So those guys are, Utah's very talented on both sides of the ball. Northwestern's good. I mean, they're a Big Ten program. Again, they've kind of had a few down seasons, but this should be a pretty good matchup. I definitely think more things favor the Utes than they do Northwestern, though.
Yeah, I mean, for Utah, the Vegas Bowl is definitely going to be a disappointment compared to the previous 2 years. I mean, they're being in the Sugar Bowl and being Pac-12 champions. This is not where they wanted to be this year. We do have a lot of people out, but I do think the key thing is going to drive this Utah team to a victory in this game. It's going to simply be and it's not statistical. This is literally just going to be what I think is going to happen, just simply because Coach Whittingham is going to will it so.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize, with 2 Pac-12 championships in the last 2 years, people may forget that they are 0-2 in the last 2 bowl games.
Yeah.
So I think Kyle Whittingham and the boys are going to go out there. They're going to crush it. They're going to want to go into Big 12 play with a bowl win on their shoulders, and they're going to go out and they're going to win this game pretty handedly. They're favored by 7. I say they crush it. I say they cover that. And the over-under line is 42.5. I'm actually going to take the over on this one.
Excellent. I love it. What's your final score prediction?
Final score? Oh gosh. Now you're going to make me do math. I'm going to go 36-12. No, 36-14.
Okay. I like it. Okay. I'm going to take the under on this one. I think the Utes score some points. I don't think they score quite that many. I do think the offense holds Northwestern to, we are going to missing a couple pieces. They'll probably give up touchdown, maybe a field goal. I'm going to say Utah 28, Northwestern 10. So take the under and Utah.
All right. Honestly, I'm good either way.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just think
Utah wins.
The reason why I'm picking the over is that Utah's offense has been so anemic all season long. And I think they're going to try and make a point.
Yeah.
To the fans, and to the rest of the college football, that I think that's what they're going to do. So that's kind of why I'm doing it to go over. But we'll see. You're going to have to let us know. Take a couple pictures while you're down there so we can throw it up on the Instagram.
You got it, buddy.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram and on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter. We'll be sure to have some stuff up there for you.
Yep.
All right, so let's go ahead and move into the college football playoff, shall we?
Absolutely.
All right, so let's go ahead and first start with the Sugar Bowl. That is going to be Washington versus Texas. And this one, we have Texas favored by 4.5. And we also have the over-under line on this one, 64. So this one's going to be a good matchup, man.
This is going to be a really good matchup.
So we covered last week on the differences between these two. This one's definitely going to be a very heavily offensive game versus the other one, which we'll get into, the Rose Bowl, which we're getting into is very much a traditional slugfest SEC
Big Ten
type game. This one's going to be a little bit different. So now Washington has some of the when it comes to this game, there's just a few key things that I want to get on for my prediction, basically.
Okay.
So again, folks, now we here at the DNA Sports Recap, we're actually going to give you our predictions on who we think is going to win these games. And just so you know, most people on YouTube, you probably know this. No one's giving out their predictions this early, but we're not going to do that right here. We're gonna give you our predictions and
check it here first. We'll give you plenty of time to slash us in the comments.
Exactly. 2 weeks ahead, 3 weeks ahead of these games.
Yeah.
Where there's still time for people to get hurt in practice and everything. So
yeah, absolutely.
Great. Let's do it. So Washington has some of, if not the best pass protection in the country.
Yes, sir.
Texas's biggest weakness is going to be the pass defense, where they're ranked 97th in the country. So if Washington wants to win this, they're going to have Michael Penix Jr. get some passes down the field. Yep. I don't think that Washington has seen a defensive front like Texas so far. I think the closest is Oregon, and they did beat them twice. But I really think that this is going to be a test for that offense, this Texas defense front line. You're going to see if Texas can really pressure Penix and get some pressure on the ball and get him to throw into some mistakes, get some picks. I could see Texas walking away with this one. However, if Penix can actually get the ball down the field, I think Washington wins this.
Yeah. No,
so
I absolutely agree. And to push that a little bit further, Washington is currently tied for 5th with 0.85 sacks allowed per game so far. That is a fantastic number. That means Michael Penix is getting sacked less than one time per game so far this year. The offensive line has been fantastic. You don't get to him that much. I mean, our Utes do a great job rushing, and they couldn't get to this guy, man. No. The O-line was pushing us all over the place. They create big holes. They can hold their blocks, and they just got to hold them long enough for him to sling that thing down the field and find one of his 3 amazing receivers, right? They're all over the place out there. So I think that's a huge advantage to Washington. Texas is 37th in the country with 2.46 sacks per game, which is a pretty good number, right? I mean, you're 2.5 sacks per game. I don't see them getting to Washington this many times. I think they will be under. I think they fall a little closer to that 1 sack in this game, maybe. This Washington O-line is really, really good. And I do believe the Texas D-line is really good, but I don't think Texas has played an O-line as good as Washington's is yet.
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
Yeah, and all you Alabama fans don't even. Okay,
I think.
Just don't.
Don't worry, we'll get here.
We'll get there in a second. I'm just telling you.
Of them on the next video.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get plenty of Bama fans in the next one.
Yeah, on the podcast you're listening, you're going to hear in a few minutes, but we like to split these up on YouTube, so the videos are going to be different.
Yeah,
but yeah, okay. So who do you got winning this one, and why?
I have Washington winning this game.
Okay,
I'm going to take the under on 64.5, and I have the final score as Washington 35 and Texas 28.
Very nice, very nice. So now you're gonna get me on the score there, because I actually didn't put together a score, because we've never done that before.
Yeah,
and so the fact that you're asking me to put scores on these things is gonna make me, give me a little bit of
Just give yours. Who do you got? Do you got over under, and do they cover or not?
Okay, so with that, I did say what's gonna be the deciding factor in this game is whether or not Michael Penix can get the ball down the field.
Yeah,
is gonna be the deciding factor. Somebody is going to have to continue to underestimate this Washington team. And so that's going to be me. I'm going to say that they don't. I'm going to say that Texas wins this one, and it's going to be a close game. And I'm going to take the under.
Okay. I like the under. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. So I do think Texas comes away with this, because I just simply think that Washington has not faced a defense like Texas. And I think it's going to be a bit of a surprise for them. So that's going to be my take.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus, it's a lot better if you and I don't agree.
Yeah, much better.
If we always agree on things, then it's not great for content.
Great point. Great point.
All right. So again, folks, let us know in the comments down below, like you did last week.
Lots of comments last week. We appreciate it. And just so you guys know, make sure you hit the like button, hit the comment. We're going to pick one of these comments and send somebody out a t-shirt this week.
That's right. Our favorite comment will get a free t-shirt. Actually, we may need to circle back and do that for last week too. I don't know if you caught the one that I said that one's definitely the comment of the week. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I know I read it.
Oh my gosh. The guy you compared it, he's like the wet dish rack.
Yeah.
That's great.
But absolutely, yeah. Comment of the week, we'll send you out. So make sure you hit the like button, send us a comment, and we'll pick somebody and send you guys out a t-shirt.
That's right. It's a DNA Sports Recap t-shirt. You've seen us. I'm not wearing one right now. So
yeah, it's got this
brilliant.
logo, top left corner.
Yeah.
They're good looking black shirts.
Absolutely. We'll send you one. Sizes are not optional, by the way. It's just extra large.
They're all XLs.
So, all right. But again, let us know in the comments down below, folks. We really appreciate it. Thanks again for all the engagement on the last video. And yeah, we look forward to hearing from you on that one.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go ahead and move in to the Rose Bowl, shall we?
Rose Bowl is going to be a good one, buddy. Michigan versus Bama.
That's right. Alabama, Michigan is favored by 1.5 points. The over-under line on this one is going to be 45.5.
Wow.
So go ahead and break that down for us. What do you think about that?
Okay. This one is I think you absolutely nailed it. This one is going to be a slugfest type of game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think this one's going to be very defensive minded. This one's going to be very time of possession. He is going to rule how this game actually ends up. Right now, Michigan is ranked number 11 in the country in time of possession, averaging 32 minutes a game. I do think this is going to be whoever can win the time of possession battle is going to get the victory in this one. Another one of my huge statistics here that I think that I kind of found and I realized was kind of a bigger deal than I thought was penalties.
Yeah.
Did you know that Michigan is second in the country with 38 penalties all this year? They're number one and 2.92 penalties per game. That is a crazy statistic, especially Alabama being 77th, 75 penalties for 640 yards. That's 61 in per game at 5.77 penalties per game.
Awesome, man. Well, again, this is Michigan is favored by 1.5. The over-under line is 45.5. I said that already.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan is a 3-time Big Ten champs in this one.
Yep.
3-time. This is their 3rd time into the college football playoff, and this is their first time as a number 1 seed. They are 0-2 in college football playoff games so far.
I haven't won one yet.
They have not won one yet.
Alabama has won a few.
Alabama has won a few.
They've done been here before.
They have been here before. Bama has improved greatly from September to December. They took the top-seeded Georgia out in the SEC championship game. They are going to need another almost perfect performance from the Crimson Tide in order to come away with a win on this one. Odds are never good when you give. However, I will say this for Alabama is that the odds are never good when you give Nick Saban a month to prepare for one opponent.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think Alabama keeps this one close.
I do too. However,
Michigan has better passing, better backfield, and better overall offense. Alabama's going to make JJ beat them down the field.
Yep.
And I think he does it. He's got a 74% completion pass. He passes for 202 yards. His passing to interception is 19-4. His rushing yards and his rushing touchdowns are drastically lower than Jalen Milrose are.
Yeah.
However, I do believe that this Michigan defense is going to be able to keep him in, not necessarily keep him in check, but he's not going to see those kind of numbers against this Michigan defense.
No, I totally agree.
So, yes, while I do have friends down in Alabama that are going to hate me for saying this, I do think Michigan finally puts it over. It seems like not only their fan base, which thank you guys, Michigan fans and the fans in the comments down below for letting us know what you think about this team. But I think not only just the fans, but Michigan altogether is they're going to complete this. Like this is not done until they get to the CFP.
Yeah.
They want to get a win, and I think this week they do it.
Excellent. I love it. Just so you guys know, make sure you hit that like, hit that comment. I'm about to give my prediction for this game. Like, comment. We're going to give away a t-shirt to one person that comments on this video. So make sure you hit that like button as well. We appreciate it. I have a different opinion than you.
That's good.
Yeah, very much different.
This could be wrong, but
I think this game turns out. I think it's going to be an absolute slugfest. I think it's going to go back and forth. I think what's going to win this game is going to be experience. Alabama is absolutely on a roll. They're feeling themselves. They've got some great momentum. They just beat the number 1 team in the country, who was there for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan sputters in these situations. I call this in a very, very, very close game. I'm going to say Alabama 21, Michigan 20.
Oh, wow. That is close.
Yep.
So he's taking the under as well, huh?
Taking the under, absolutely. Nice. I don't see a ton of points being scored in this game.
No, if you were to ask me, I'd say it'd be 21-10, something like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, okay, that's great. You know, I don't know, man. I just don't think you're going to keep this Michigan team 0-3 and 3 chances to in the CFP. I don't know. That to me, that was the underlying factor. They have the more experienced quarterback. You know,
Darren, you know that I really dislike Alabama, right?
I do.
I really dislike. I'm just not a huge fan of Alabama. Okay.
No.
They've been dominant. They've been fantastic. They've got a ton of fans. I appreciate every one of them who's been watching our video.
Roll Tide, baby. Keep it coming.
But I'm going to tell you, for me to just predict, okay, that I think Alabama is going to win, it literally pains me.
It took a lot.
But I am giving my honest prediction on who I think is actually going to win the football game, and I do think it will be Alabama.
Yeah. You know, hey, I'm picking Mason Jane, but I'm rooting for you guys down there in Tuscaloosa. So Roll Tide for sure. But yeah, so folks, there you go. You have it. There are predictions. Let us know in the comments down below what you think. If we are way off on that, as far as any statistical stuff, you know, just like last week, let us know. We'd be happy to consider it. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more next week on who we think is going to be the national champion, shall we?
Absolutely. Now that we've predicted our winners for these games, soon enough, we got to predict a college football playoff championship, huh?
Absolutely.
Stay tuned, guys. We appreciate you guys following and listening.
We probably should wait till after they release these games before we start picking.
Oh yeah,
because what if our national championship team doesn't even make it?
We do a video on the team. Neither one of them. I guess we're actually. One of us is going to be right.
One of us is going to be right.
Yeah,
that's right.
In either one. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Stick with us, guys. As you can see, we're new to this here. We're about a year into this.
Yeah.
But once again, folks, we are in the grind to 1,000 subscribers. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're going to get the first $500 that we earned in AdSense revenue back to our subscribers. 5 subscribers are each going to earn $100 from us as just a way of saying thank you. And we're, again, really appreciate all the engagements. I mean, we're seeing massive growth over the last couple of weeks on the channel, so we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, guys. We really appreciate it.
All right. So let's go ahead and pivot on over from college football to the NBA, shall we?
NBA basketball. Yep. Yes, sir. I told you.
All right. Let's go ahead and move into a little bit about the Utah Jazz, shall we?
Absolutely.
All right. So just after celebrating, well, now the Jazz are currently celebrating 50 years as a franchise.
Yeah. Super cool.
Yeah. And they celebrated by losing by 50 points to the Dallas Mavericks when we were last recording last week.
Yep, that was painful.
Yeah. You know, I just want to give us a chance to kind of vent about that because just like this always happens whenever we film, news breaks as soon as we hit the stop button on recording. So I want to make sure we give ourselves a chance to talk about that. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about how your Jazz are performing so far?
Well, one thing that I do want to note is the last time the Jazz lost by 50 points to Dallas, I was at the game, 2018.
Wow, this isn't a first time then, huh?
Yeah, no, they lost to Dallas by 50
Oof.
5 years ago. I was at the game, and it was painful. I'm there, dude. I'm getting in there. Jazz are doing good. I'm talking all this trash to all these Dallas Mavericks fans, like, we're going to win. Yeah, we got clobbered the whole game. Went down 20 early, and it just kept climbing. It was horrendous. So to hear that it happened again this week, or last week, was painful, because I remember that feeling of being in the arena and just getting your A handed to you all game long.
Absolutely.
The Jazz have looked really, really rough, man. I was just talking to one of my buddies about this today. I feel like they can't find a groove offensively or defensively, and they just look terrible.
Yeah.
I sincerely don't think it's coaching. I feel like it's like the mojo on the team just hasn't evolved enough yet for them to actually make winning plays as a team.
I think it's a little combination of, well, let me first mention the best part about last week when we lost by 50 points is we got to see a new side to our head coach.
Yeah.
That we've never seen before.
Yeah.
And the quote says, that was a masterpiece of dog. You know, let's bleep this part out. You know, I absolutely love that. I mean, the fact that the coach comes out and sits down, he goes, I'm not running a basketball camp here. I mean, he said that in the last game before where the Jazz lost to the Clippers, I believe.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not running a basketball camp here. I'm you know, he goes, but I'm not naive to our situation. I love that we have that kind of coach. I love that he realizes he is in a development type team right now, but he doesn't want their efforts to be fruitless. So he knows that he's putting them out there to try and win every game. He believes they can win every game, you know, but you know, this is the NBA. So technically any team can win on any day.
Yeah.
So, I think that was awesome. Now, yeah, they have played bad. I think it's a combination of two things. One, no Mike Conley. I think that's the biggest piece. We don't have Mike Conley on this team. And
A floor general that can shoot the ball and pass the ball to anybody, and when they're open and make good decisions and take care of the basketball. Yeah, we're definitely missing that guy.
Yeah, and I think he was the main reason why they started off so hot last year.
It was 100% the reason they started off so hot.
Right after the trade, they were one of the worst teams in the NBA.
Yeah,
and for the rest of the season.
And then to start this year, they're one of the worst teams in the NBA.
Yeah. So I mean, I know you and I both thought that they're going to be a playoff team coming into this because we thought we'd see people step up like Jordan Clarkson.
Don't go back and watch that video. We missed that one by a touch.
Yeah, well, we thought Jordan Clarkson was going to come in and be his usual self. He's having a terrible year. He's out with injury right now.
Yep, for another 2 weeks. Yep.
Larry Markkinen went down for several weeks, and he was out.
Killing us.
Walker Kessler went out like literally right after game one from Sabonis's dirty play, and missed a lot of time. And he was supposed to be coming back and having a breakout year, but because of early injuries, that kind of sidelined him. And we're just trying to see a little bit. And THT and Chris Dunn and all of them are definitely underperforming for what we thought they were going to be. Not to mention John Collins. We were really excited about that trade.
Yeah,
but he hasn't really panned out the way I was expecting him to.
I think John Collins is, performing statistically, he doesn't look bad at all on paper. But the problem is he's not actually helping the team win.
No,
you know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's close to averaging a double-double. He looks okay in every single game you watch him in. He does great at offensive rebounds, but the team's not winning because of John Collins' performance, and that's the issue.
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree with you on that. So we did talk a little about this last week, but we definitely want to bring it back a little bit because more has come out on this. But Sports Illustrated did report last week that the Lakers are closely watching the Jazz situation to see if they become early sellers at the deadline. Do you see this team finishing out this year prior to the deadline, which is in February, I believe, being one of the bottom 3 or 4 teams in the West? And should they move on from some of these assets?
Yes, I see them finishing in the bottom 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if they're going to make the play-in unless something drastic changes and they make a move for a piece, a Mike Conley type piece. I do think that they're close enough that one piece could get them close to where they want to be and make the play. Just the play-in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I do see him moving away, probably getting rid of Sexton or THT. Maybe even a Jordan Clarkson to, whether it's for assets for this, upcoming off season or, whatever route that, they decide to go. But I don't see this team making it all the way through the year. That's for sure.
Do you see, this is something that was posed by Spence Checkers on ESPN The Drive on an afternoon show. Do you see, I personally have the belief that Danny Ainge would trade his mother for 3 first-round draft picks. Do you see it? There's a chance that, with the Jazz being where they are right now, they're definitely in rebuild mode. They're definitely not really looking to contend next year or the year after that from the way they're playing right now.
Right.
Do you see any chance that, Danny Ainge might potentially consider trading one of the most valuable assets this team has right now, which is Larry Markkinen?
I thought you were going to say his mother. I was like, I haven't seen her play, but if they're going to give 3 first-round picks for her, I'm in.
Can she run the point?
Yeah, exactly. Like if she's anywhere near Mike Conley, we're out. Trade her. Yeah, yeah, keep her.
Yeah, he's an all-star making $17 million a year.
Moving Lauri Markkinen?
Yeah,
no,
that's a gorgeous contract. That'd be you can get
not a chance. Lauri Markkinen likes it here. The Jazz like what they have in Lauri Markkinen. He is an asset that would be very, very. He's the hardest asset on this team to replace.
Yeah.
Because he's 7 foot tall. He can score it. He rebounds it. He loves living in Utah. And he's coachable. He's getting better. And I don't think Lauri's anywhere near his ceiling, right? Like I think he's got a lot of room to grow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them moving. I think he's one of the untouchables.
I say there's only 3 players that are untouchable on this team.
Okay.
And honestly, even the untouchables, I can definitely see Danny Ainge moving with the price being right. Like I don't think there's anybody on this team that is really untouchable for Danny Ainge. But it would be Keontae George, Larry Markkinen, and Walker Kessler. I think those are the 3 immovable objects for this team. I think they're using those 3 to build around. Now we're going to have to pay Larry Markkinen next year.
Yep.
So when you're in a potential long-term rebuild where it might be 2, 3, maybe even 4 years before you're contending, I don't see Larry Markkinen willing to be in that long-term unless the contract's right.
I don't think the Jazz are looking to be a 2 or 3 year rebuild. And I think they have enough assets that they can I think they can probably fast track the rebuild a little bit. If that's the direction that they choose to go. What they've got to figure out this season are which pieces do they want in the rebuild for next season, right?
Right.
So once you get Lowry, okay, now we've identified Lowry as a guy moving forward. Keontae George is a guy moving forward. Walker Kessler is a guy moving forward. Who are the other 2 guys?
Right. And are they on the team now? I would say no.
Are they on the team now? Well, I mean, Ochai is a guy. I mean, even if he's a bench guy, right? You got to start plugging guys into all these bench locations, all of these, deep bench locations. Do we have guys that continue to add value to the team every time they step out there? I think we have quite a few of those pieces. I just don't think we have quite the starting lineup yet. Mm-hmm. Quite a lineup that we can rely on everyone to continue to win. And once we find that, if Danny Ainge can move a few pieces to get there, I don't think there's any doubt that he moves them to get there to, again, fast track the rebuild so that we can be successful next year.
Yeah, I hope you're right. But I just want to err again on the side of caution here. This is Danny Ainge we're talking about. That Boston Red Sox.
Holy cow, he played for the Red Sox too.
That Boston Celtics rebuild was not a fast one. And granted, he did not have a Donovan Mitchell and a Rudy Gobert type trade coming his way. So that may have fast-tracked things a little bit.
It took him 3 years to build the assets he got from the Rudy and Donovan trades.
Yeah. So what I'm talking about here is I'm thinking a lot of Utah fans were spoiled, man. I mean, we're not used to a long rebuild. We're used to one bad season, then we're potentially playing for the playoff, getting a playoff position the next year, and then we're trying to move up and win a playoff round. I honestly think that this one might take a little longer.
What's crazy is we're not that far from being one of the best teams in the NBA with one of the best offenses and one of the best defenses, anchored by Rudy Gobert, and our offense anchored by Donovan Mitchell. That's only 3 years ago, man. The best regular season record. We were the number 1 seed going into the playoffs.
Yeah, but anybody watching that team knew that they weren't going to get out of the second round, man. They were not going to compete for a conference championship. If you watch those guys play together, they were not in it together.
I disagree. They all were going to win, and I wanted that Jazz team to win so bad.
I'm sorry, man, but Conley, if Conley couldn't keep those guys playing together, and even Quinn Snyder's like, dude, I'm out. To me, that's just like, I was just like, that team was like, I didn't care that they had the best seed in the West. They weren't going anywhere. Like, you can just see that the last 20 games of how they played together. And the guy wouldn't even pass to Rudy, man. And by the way, the rest of the league owes Rudy Gobert a freaking apology. That guy is balling out on one of the best teams. I mean, he's averaging a double-double, 20 rebounds, 14 points on average.
I also owe Rudy an apology because I think one of my comments was that I don't think that Rudy and Cat can play together. They can.
Yeah, they could play together.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah, I think Cat loves it. Like, dude, I can get it. He's like, I can just, if I don't have a shot, I can just dump it in because nobody's paying attention to Rudy in the post.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I felt that the Jazz are missing is they did not realize how often Rudy was open in the post. But anyway, moving on from how bad they're playing this year, let's talk about the stuff that came up recently in the news.
Yeah.
Now this was reported by Andy Larson of the Salt Lake Tribune. Couldn't read the full article because, believe it or not, the Salt Lake Tribune wants you to pay for the newspaper to read their articles online. So
ridiculous.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
That's revenue, guys. Just figure it out. You place ads on your paper, people read it. That's just kind of how that works. Anyway, he said it is reported. And I'm paraphrasing based off of what I read off of KSLSports.com. He stated that the Jazz ownership met with the Point of the Mountain leaders about a year ago in regards to potentially moving the Utah Jazz to Draper, away from downtown Salt Lake to basically a little prison location. Did you read this at all? Did you see any of this?
I did.
Go ahead and give me what you think about it.
I think it's a horrendous idea.
Yeah.
I think it's an absolute horrendous idea because not only do you have to build a stadium that can suit an NBA team and an NHL team, you also have to support. You have to put in a whole parking system, a whole restaurant system that is going to support people half the season.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have this problem with this arena that is on the southern part of the valley. We already have people struggling to come to Salt Lake City just based on there's no nightlife. It's not, close enough to anything. Now you're going to put it 10, 12 miles south in the middle of a suburban neighborhood.
Yeah, they're not going to be a Grand America going out in Draper.
No,
Yeah.
no. So that's kind of my point. It's like you if it was at the prison location, it would literally be in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
There's nothing there. It's a
Well,
freeway and there's houses.
There would
And
have
there's
to,
an IKEA.
yeah, there'd have to be some development. That's a whole like they're going to go with the whole concept of like the break sorry, not the break. What's it called down in Atlanta? The Battery. So where Atlanta Braves play, they basically have like this whole thing down there where they have a bunch of restaurants, a bunch of condos, a bunch of
Right.
a whole bunch of stuff going on down there. There's a theater, and they really kind of build that out to be like a spot. But again, it's not in downtown Atlanta. That's not something. So in that same interview there, in the same interview there, sorry, not in the same interview, on the same show with Spence Checkers to Drive on ESPN 700, former Trib writer Chris Camrani stated that it would be a drastic mistake for a plethora of reasons, citing that the most teams in the West have always kept themselves in the epicenter of the culture, and the Jazz epicenter in Utah is going to be Salt Lake City downtown, and Draper does not have the epicenter of Utah's culture is not in Draper, Utah.
No, not even a little bit.
So now, what I think about this is, okay, I think this article was no offense to Andy Larson of the Trib, but I think this whole article was a clickbait article.
I actually totally agree, because it's like they met a year ago.
They met about a year ago. They met at the point of the mountain. The SCG met down there. The ownership of the Jazz met down there. You know why they met down there? Because they were picking out a potential site for a hockey team if they brought an NHL team down here.
Yeah.
I think that's all it is. They're not going to plan on moving the Jazz from downtown Salt Lake. And if they are, it's just a way to give themselves leverage for better tax rates or something like that, or maybe some public funds to, revamp the Delta Center a little bit more around the surrounding areas. It's probably just a play if they do even mention the Jazz at all. I think that the whole meeting down there was solely not for the Jazz, but to solely figure out a way to bring an NHL team to Salt Lake. I think that's the only reason why it was even discussed. What do you think?
I totally agree, because that's literally what I have on my notes. Is I think the whole ploy was just to potentially look at a site in case they wanted an NHL team in Salt Lake City. They've got to have another place. They just moved the Bees down to Daybreak.
Yeah, I had that one else too.
So I don't know. I mean, would I love having the Jazz in Draper? Yeah, that's 10 minutes closer to my house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sure it'd be state of the art. It'd be nice facilities. There'd be tons of food. There'd be tons of parking. It'd be great. But that's not what Jazz basketball is.
No,
Jazz basketball is going downtown, finding you a crappy parking spot and paying $20 for it and walking into the arena and getting there. I mean, they got some good food in that arena.
Unless you go to the planetarium, people who know.
Yep.
It's an inside tip, by the way.
But that's what it is, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's a whole ordeal.
Well, think about this. I mean, you got the Utah Jazz downtown Salt Lake City. They just renamed it the Delta Center. They're not going to take away from that nostalgia and dump the team in Draper in 3 years.
It defeats the whole purpose.
Defeats the whole purpose. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, their team is kind of crap right now, but they still have people going to the arena. They still have people signing up for this Jazz Plus thing.
Tickets are getting cheap too.
And tickets are going to get, I mean, right now they're not great, but eventually we're going to get to the point where you can sit in the lower bowl for less than $100 a seat. So that'd be great. But I just see this. I mean, if you think about it this way, you got the Jazz downtown, you got an NHL expansion team in Draper, you got the Bees out in Harriman, or the Daybreak area out there in that area. South Jordan. Yeah. I'd say it's on the border between South Jordan and Riverton Harriman area where they have it.
Yeah, you're right.
Location.
You're right.
And then you also have the Major League Baseball team in the Power District out there at the fairgrounds.
All over the place.
So that's 4 points, man. You got the whole valley covered. And I just think that's basically what they were trying to do. And I think it's perfect. I think it's, the symmetry there is great. And honestly, I just really hope this whole NHL thing doesn't stop Utah from bringing a baseball team. And that's just basically my main thing.
Yeah, I would much rather have an MLB team than an NHL team.
I'd rather have a baseball team. No offense, but I don't know. I just think if between the two, you want 82 games here in revenue potential versus I don't know how long the hockey season is. But anyway, I don't know. That's just what I think. What do you think?
Totally agree.
Awesome, man.
Totally agree.
Let us know what you think, folks, down in the comments down below. Let us know if you think that this is a real threat, if they're going to move the Jazz away from downtown, or is this just a ploy to get more state funds and, potentially just look for an AHL team down south. Let's say let us know if you agree with us there. Keep in mind, folks, this is a podcast. If you guys are listening or if you guys are watching on YouTube, it is available on a podcast. So make sure that you check us out wherever you can find your podcasts. If we get 100 likes on this video, we'll give away a sweet Jazz t-shirt.
Absolutely. Hit that like button. We appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on over to Major League Baseball, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right.
My favorite.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about Major League Baseball, shall we?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Awesome. Your favorite, as always.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now, where do we want to start here? Do we want to start with the recent changes, like as far as the free agent stuff, or do we just want to go into the Ohtani stuff?
So I want to talk a couple of the free agents.
Okay.
Right. Some of the top free agents. We'll do 4 or 5 of those. Get us up to speed because there's been a few changes since we last recorded, and then we're going to go into Ohtani.
Okay.
And talk his contract and what you think about it.
Awesome. And then I'm going to go on a nice little rant about Ohtani at the end of this. So make sure you stay tuned for that because
watch till the end. You're going to love it.
It's going to be a nice little rant there. Appreciate it. So, all right, let's go ahead and first jump into some of the transactions that went down since we last spoke. I believe we did talk last week on this.
Yep.
We also did a quick little video when Ohtani signed with the Dodgers, and we'll get into that later. But what transactions do you have? So
the Cubs, well, this isn't a transaction yet, but the Cubs and the Blue Jays are currently favored to sign Cody Bellinger. Which of those teams do you think Cody Bellinger helps more?
Oh gosh, he did almost single-handedly bring the Cubs into the last wild card team. If they didn't totally lay an egg in the last couple of weeks of the season, last couple of games, I think he's got a bigger impact on the Cubs than he does on the Blue Jays, I think.
Okay, so those are the 2 teams that favored to land him as of now. Rowdy Tellez signed a 1 year.
Before you get to that, do you want to know where I think Cody Bellinger goes?
Yeah.
I think he goes to
Atlanta.
No, they're not signing any big name free agents
because they're too good already.
That's just not the way they don't do this kind of thing. I'll get into it. I'll get into that a little bit later. But I think actually, I thought he was going to sign with the Giants, but I don't think that's going to happen now. So I'm going to say he goes back to the Cubs.
Okay.
Actually, no, I think he goes, to the Cubs.
Okay. No, so let me jump back in. Rowdy Tellez signs a 1 year, $3.2 million deal with the Pirates. He had a good season in 22, had 35 home runs. They're obviously looking to hoping he can return to his 22 form.
Mm-hmm. Who did he play with before?
He was with the Brewers.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
32 home runs?
Yeah, he had 32 home runs with the Brewers.
Wow.
35 home runs, in the 22 season.
Oh, okay. Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Didn't have that last year. Okay. I got you. I'm following.
Yeah, it wasn't last year.
Okay.
The Giants signed Jung-Hoo Lee to a 6-year, $113 million deal.
Yeah, this was okay. And we'll get into this when we talk about Shohei Ohtani. But as far as the consolation prize, I think they did a pretty good job on this. Now, this is basically budget belly right here is what I think they did. I think they realized that they're going to have to pay out the nose for Bellinger, and they didn't want to. It looks like Bellinger's going to get $200 million. I think this deal of $113 million over 6 years, I think this is good. He is an outfielder. He played for the Korean League, which is awesome. I mean, he hits for average. He averaged over 300 batting average for the whole time he was in the Korean League.
Nice.
His slug is okay. His OPS is above average, and he's really the last couple of years really lowered his strikeout rate. So good signing for the Giants there for sure.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Did you see Royals agree to a 1-year deal with reliever Will Smith?
Yeah.
So my question is,
I know where you're going with this.
He signs 1 year, $5 million, and he's won the World Series in the last 3 seasons.
Breaking news, folks.
Are the Royals next?
Absolutely. Come on, this is Will Smith. He's won a ring 3 years in a row, man.
Everywhere he goes, man. All I do was win.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this on the previous video, how Will Smith has won a World Series for the last 4 years. Obviously, Will Smith, the catcher for the Dodgers. No, Will Smith, the catcher for the Dodgers, won in 2020. And then the relief pitcher has won a ring with each team he's been on the last 2 years. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm glad you caught that one because I actually had that off my notes and I did think about that. So yeah, I like the Royals' chances.
I like the Royals' chances
simply by doing that. Did you hear who else they got though?
The
Royals
didn't see them sign anybody else.
Oh, they signed, believe it or not, Mr. Crybaby himself, Seth Lugo, to a 3-year,
No way.
$45 million deal.
That's a nice contract.
It is a nice contract. You know, he did play well. He did play well for the Padres last year.
Yeah.
And yeah, the reason why we call him Mr. Crybaby is because of that whole, you know, oh, they stole my signs. That's why I got lit up. You know, boo hoo. You know, they stole the signs when Mookie was on second. Yeah, jackwagon. I'm glad the Dodgers didn't get him.
Do you got any other good signings, or because I'm about to go with one, but it's gonna just catapult us into the Ohtani.
Well, I do want to talk about the Braves actually.
Okay, perfect.
So the Braves did do some signings. If I can find it here. Let's see. So the Braves did some kind of stuff on the edges here. So the Angels traded for infielder David Fletcher and catcher Max Stassi from the Braves. The Braves got first baseman Evan White and left-handed pitcher Taylor Thomas. So they're making some kind of like, you know, off the kind of
fringe movements.
The Braves aren't really big into what they like to do is they like to get a talent player through the draft and they want to sign him early to a contract extension before he actually gets to the point where he's actually earning what he's worth.
Yeah.
I mean, Ozzie Albies has a 5-year, $25 million contract. One of the best second basemen in all of baseball is making $5 million a year.
Yeah.
That's like rookie arbitration numbers, dude.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Like, they freaking steal, man.
Just robbed him.
So I just don't see why the Braves would go after some of these free agents. I know they were in on Yamamoto, so they were trying to get him, but they're not going to be able to compete with these other teams. They're going to be throwing $200 million at this guy. So,
yep, absolutely.
So yeah, I definitely think that was a good trade for them. They did get some pitching depth, which is what they need. And first baseman Evan White's a nice little backup for Matt Olson there. So I like that move. We'll see if he ends up with the top team there or not. But we also have Erod, Eduardo Rodriguez. You remember this trade?
Yep.
You remember this guy?
Mm-hmm.
So this guy signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks?
Yeah, well, they are. You know, they were in the World Series last year.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean,
but the point that I want to bring up about this is this does go back to the trade deadline last year. Do you remember what he said?
I don't.
So he was traded to the Dodgers. The Dodgers made a trade for him, and he vetoed the trade because he had a no trade clause because he didn't want to play out west. He wanted to stay on the East Coast, and then he ends up signing to play in Phoenix, which is just like 4 hours away from LA.
But it's a lot warmer.
It's a lot warmer. Yeah,
way warmer.
Yeah. So
I don't want to play out west though.
Yeah, I'm just like, what are we doing, man? That's the guy who showed his true colors there for sure. So he was saying, you know, he didn't want to play for the Dodgers, but he was willing to sign a 4-year, $80 million deal to go to the Rockies.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the Rockies, the Diamondbacks, the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yeah. So I just think that's funny. 31 years old. So good luck. Good luck to you there. When you play the Dodgers, I hope we put, 10 runs on you and kick you out of the first inning.
Sorry.
But yeah, not bitter about it at all.
Okay, you ready for my catapulting question?
Yeah, what do you got?
Okay. Did you hear the Dodgers are sending Betts, Ohtani, and Freeman to go meet with Yamamoto?
Yeah, this happened
in a recruiting.
Yeah, this happened.
Manner.
When did this happen? This happened a couple days ago, didn't it?
Not that I saw.
Yeah, this happened. I think yesterday or today. One of the two.
I saw yesterday that the Dodgers were rumored to be sending someone to Yamamoto.
Yeah,
and then it came out today that they're sending Betts, Ohtani, and Freeman out there to go meet with them to try to recruit him to the Dodgers.
So he met with the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium, and they had Shohei Ohtani there, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and they also had Will Smith there, his catcher.
That's what I'm talking about.
The person who's going to be his catcher. I'm just assuming, but the person who's going to be catching for him, all there. And some drone footage caught the Dodger Stadium's board, and they said, "Welcome." It says, "Welcome, Yoshinobu Yamamoto," on the board with him in a Dodger uniform. On the thing there.
No way.
They made a hard push for that. Can you imagine? Okay, first of all, you walk in there and you got Shohei Ohtani, who just signed with the team and just took a massive, and we'll get into the contract later, but a massive pay deferment.
Watch to the end.
Exactly. Massive pay deferment to have him with the team. right?
Yeah.
Just and that's literally why they did it. And they go in there and have Shohei Ohtani there, his Team Japan from the World Baseball Classic, teammate there with him.
Yeah.
The other two players that are the batting rams, and then by the way, you're also your catchers there, and by the way, you're gonna be the starting pitching ace on the team that's won 100 games the last 3 seasons.
Sounds pretty nice.
I mean, how do you say no to that, dude?
I don't think you do.
I mean, maybe some other teams will be able to offer you more money, a little bit more money, but to kind of come into that situation
with Shohei, with Mookie, with Freddie.
I mean, Shohei's been playing in Southern California for 7 years now. He probably definitely have him, help him with the whole cultural difference and learn how to play in the Major League Baseball and the whole thing. I mean, honestly, I just don't know how do you say no to that and how any other team could beat that.
They can't.
I mean, go to the Mets and be like, they do have a starting pitcher in the Mets from Japan there as well. But
Yamamoto, the Dodgers, we're calling it right now.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Did you also hear the rumors that they're potentially going to trade for Tyler Glass now? And potentially Randy Arozarena? Or
really?
Yeah, they're talking about making a trade. Now, for me, I think they'd have to have Randy Arozarena in this trade to give up who they're giving because they're getting up Ryan Pepio, which is one of my favorite prospects for the Dodgers. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, so not only are they trying to trade for a straight line, they're one of the favorites to land Yamamoto too. So I don't know, man. I just with that, I don't know how do you say no to that, dude. That's just insane.
Yeah, that's craziness. That's craziness.
Awesome, but yeah. Anyway, so I don't know. What do you think? Do you think he lands with the Dodgers?
I do.
Yeah,
I mean, just for that reason right there.
Yeah.
Like you're going to be the starting pitcher. You're going to have Shohei to help kind of mentor you the first year in the league. Yeah. Like he's just here. He can help you out.
Yeah.
He's obviously going to be with the program hitting. So
you get to be the frontline starter. So you get to be, in a big market. You're going to be the frontline starter, opening day starter on most likely the best team in the National League with the Braves with a close second.
Yeah.
But the best team in the National League who's odds-on favorite to go all the way this year.
Right.
And you get to be the starting pitcher who takes the ball game 1. Dude, how do you say no to that? I just don't know how you do it.
I don't think you do.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's still a chance that the Giants will get him or potentially that the Mets will just, simply just not let anybody else beat him as far as an offer goes. We'll see.
Okay. Here we go. Shohei Ohtani.
All right.
Signs a very large contract.
Yeah. By the way, everybody, thanks for watching that quick little go-to remote session that AJ and I put together. Appreciate it. We had over 500 watches on that one, so that's fantastic. Thank you guys for tuning into that. Not always our best quality when we do that kind of thing, but we really appreciate tuning in. So yeah, it's a 10-year, $700 million contract, but that's not it.
No. But wait, there's more.
Why don't you go ahead and tell them, man, what else is there?
Shohei has elected to defer $680 million of his $700 million deal, only to receive $2 million per year, and will receive $68 million per year from 2034 to 2043. Now, did you see that Shohei retains the option to opt out he retains the option to opt out of his contract if controlling owner Mark Walter or president of baseball operations Andrew Friedman leaves the organization?
Yes, this broke actually today. So this is great that we're getting onto this. And I think that's awesome that you found that, by the way.
Yeah.
This is fantastic for a few reasons. One, in Friedman we trust, that one in there, just Friedman's like, awesome, man. They can't fire me.
Yeah. That's job security right there.
That is job security. But honestly, why would you fire him, man?
Yeah, killing it.
Andrew Friedman, dude, you got Shohei Ohtani, man. Like you have your job for life, basically. You pulled off an amazing deal. But yeah, so let's first talk about the contract before we get into the opt-outs, which we'll definitely get into because I think there's a good reason why.
Baseball is my favorite time to drink.
Absolutely. Go for it.
Okay.
So I think there's a really good reason for why those clauses are in this contract, by the way.
Okay.
So first of all, it gives the Dodgers an out. All they have to do is fire Andrew Friedman, and then then he'll opt out of his contract. So if it's not panning out for the Dodgers, there you go. You found your solution. But anyway, so Shohei Ohtani has a 10-year, $700 million contract where $680 million was deferred. By all reports, this was actually Ohtani's idea. I've seen a lot of reports being why the Dodgers are getting away with this. How come they're doing this? Ohtani brought this to all teams he was meeting with. They made their initial offer. He countered with this exact same proposal. He offered this to the Cubs, the Blue Jays, the Giants, and the Angels. Okay, now why would he do that?
I mean, it's all about roster flexibility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Deferring that much salary, you're going to allow the team to continue to sign players so that you can win baseball games now.
Absolutely. This tells you that Ohtani is in it to win rings, not about chasing the most money possible in his contract.
Yep.
Now, does this allows the Dodgers to go after a lot more talent? This lowers their whether it's going to hit the tax on them from being 70 million to hit their competitive tax down to 46 million. This allows the Dodgers to have 30 million, probably less, because there are a few outstanding free agents the Dodgers probably want to bring back, like Kershaw, depending on how his arm comes out of Kershaw for life. If he doesn't retire a Dodger, then I'm just gonna,
You're just so deeply offended you can't stand it.
I just, there's my favorite player in baseball is Clayton Kershaw. My second favorite is Corey Seager. As long as Clayton Kershaw is there, he's gonna be my guy.
My favorite player?
Your favorite current player?
No, just favorite player.
No, I don't.
Chipper Jones.
Nice, good call.
Love Chipper Jones.
Good call, man. Good call. I mean, I know who your current favorite player is.
Who is it?
Kike Hernandez.
Oh, I love Kike, man.
Which the Dodgers are discussion about bringing him back, by the way.
Dude, he's so funny.
He is so funny. He's a great guy to have around.
Yeah.
And then a close second would be Joe Kelly, obviously.
Oh, for sure. Joe. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so now I think this allows them to go out and get a Yamamoto, allows them to get out and get a Blake Snell.
Because of the flexibility.
Exactly. This
Absolutely.
allows them to put them in a position where they're not going to be penalized for the cap. Now,
okay. I don't want you to ramble too much on this because I want to ask you a question.
Well, I wanted to get back to the part you mentioned about Freeman and the ownership group.
Okay, cool.
Important.
Okay.
So this is the reason why it's so important for him to make sure that the controlling owner of the team is Mark Walter. Is because in 10 years, and this is a hot take, man. You haven't heard this anywhere else. Okay. My take on this is that when that 10 years is up, they're going to pivot that $600 million into an ownership stake with the Dodgers instead of paying it.
Ooh, that's exactly what they're going to do.
Everybody else is talking about the potential of like him moving to Texas so he doesn't have to pay income taxes on it, and it's being like a way to dodge taxes. No, I think this is a way for them for Ohtani to actually become part owner of the Dodgers. That's what I think is going to happen. 10 years from now, they're going to be paying him.
I think you're absolutely right.
They're going to be paying him $2 million a year, and they're going to be able to take that money. Do you know if they take that money that they're deferring and just put it into a low interest yield account?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
It's 80, the average,
and it's interest free. I mean, that's
interest
like the biggest thing about that. The deferment is it's all interest free.
Yeah. So what they're doing is they're bringing down do you know what his total value of the contract by the time he's done is actually going to be?
What?
Because money today is worth more than money.
Absolutely.
We're not going to go into economics. You guys know what I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
But the Major League Baseball Players Association values this $700 million contract at $438 million. That's the true value dollar-wise of this contract. Right. So everybody's like $700 million. It's only $437.8 million actually is his actual contract value, which I'm willing to bet you the Dodgers don't even actually end up paying because they're just going to roll that into an ownership stake.
Wow. Hot take. You heard it here first.
Exactly. And this isn't going to happen. Everybody's actually up in arms about this. This is not going to happen in baseball again going forward. There's not another player in baseball that's going to have the opportunity to earn up to $50 to $60 million off the field every year in endorsements.
Okay. Because that's my next question is, how does this Shohei contract structuring affect future large contracts moving forward?
The only way it affects it is if it changes the way people handle the deferments. Now, Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman are already on contract deferrals for the same reason why I think is a big reason for why players need to have contract deferrals if you play in California. Their state income tax is ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, working in California is craziness.
If Ohtani did get paid $7 million, you know how much of that money he would get after that? 35.
Yeah,
out of 70, he'd get 35. Which is insane. It's just the California tax rates is just ridiculous. If you guys want professional sports there, you got to do something about that, man, because that's just absolutely ridiculous. But I think that this contract is going to cause Major League Baseball to make some changes to prevent something like this happening again. However, I don't think this is possible. People act like this is a new thing. Max Scherzer's contract with the Nationals, Nationals. I think it was with the Mets. I can't remember which team, but his contract was actually deferred 50%.
Oh, wow.
50% of his contract. They're acting like this is like, oh, people defer 20%. No, Max Scherzer did 50. And, the only reason why Shohei Ohtani's doing this is he's like, well, I want to defer my salary. The Dodgers said, okay, well, we'll do $2 million, because they did the research on this. Some players deferring 20%, some are doing 30%. Both Mookie and Freddie are on deferments for their contracts. So this is an unprecedented. It is unprecedented on the amount. I don't think you're ever going to see another player come into baseball that is going to have that much off-field opportunity to make that kind of money to where he can just basically play for free for the team.
Yeah. And literally just live off endorsements and all the other side money that he makes doing everything else.
Yeah. So this just isn't going to happen again. I know everybody's up in arms about how it's going to affect.
I could see Shohei Ohtani driving like a Toyota Camry.
Did you hear about when he first got here? His mother gave him an allowance of $900 a month.
No way.
No, I'm not kidding. $900 a month. And he stayed in cheap apartments right by the arena for the Angels. Yeah. So
I actually love that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not spending a shit ton of money, So
he clearly don't need it. Like
No.
I said, he's probably driving a Toyota Camry, living in some busted ass apartment.
No, his place actually is quite nice, and I can't remember where it is, but anyway, his place is quite nice.
Okay, so I got a final question for you. Let's wrap this episode up. Are you ready? Or you still got more?
We got more, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, I want mine to wrap up.
Okay.
So you dive in. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll hit you with my final question.
Okay. So 2 things. First, for all the teams out there that are saying that this is unfair to the Los Angeles Dodgers, they can keep doing this. Keep in mind that this player is being paid absolutely nothing to play with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And the only thing that kept other teams from signing him is the fear of paying that $68 million, for the next 10 years after his contract. Like I mentioned before,
$680 million.
$680 million.
Yeah.
If you put the money that you were going to pay him, $70 million or whatever it is, in the bank and just invest that money wisely, you're going to earn more than double that. That's just going to sit and accrue interest 10 years from now, and you're going to be able to pay that out no problem.
Yep.
Any team in baseball wouldn't be able to sign Shohei Ohtani. The only key thing that's bringing in Shohei Ohtani to the Dodgers is 1, geography, 2, winning history, recent winning history. He wants to play in the postseason. He wants to be relevant.
Yep.
The teams he talked to were the Blue Jays, the Dodgers, the Giants. These are all teams that have been in the postseason recently. So they're all teams that could potentially do that. But anybody could have signed this guy.
Yep.
Anybody could have. And it's not the fact that the Dodgers signed him like, oh, the Dodgers new evil empire. They can't keep getting away with this. This was literally going to be his contract with whoever he signed with.
Yeah. This was his idea.
Yeah. So I get really tired of that narrative that this is something if he did sign with the Blue Jays and this was his contract, I wouldn't be complaining either, because this is literally a one-off thing that anybody could have done.
Yeah.
You just got to prove to the guy that you are going to win with this guy. And I think that was the most important thing. My main rant on this one is going to be towards the national media when it comes to professional sports. I don't know how much of this you tracked. I remember both you and I had to quickly jump into this, throw some stuff together and get on really quick because he announced it on his own Instagram.
Yep.
But I got a little beef to pick with the national media on this one.
Why is that?
I don't know how much of baseball, Major League Baseball free agency that you follow, but we had Manny Machado and Bryce Harper going into spring training before they made the decision on which team they're going to go to. Camp was opened up. Pitchers and catchers reported. It was in March before these 2 players signed. And if you look at Shohei Ohtani's announcement when he announced he's coming to the Dodgers, the first sentence was, "I apologize for taking so long."
Yeah.
That is
I did actually read that.
That is absolutely ridiculous. He didn't take long. It was not a big deal. We've had players that were far less important to Major League Baseball than Shohei Ohtani taking a lot longer to sign a contract than Manny Machado and Bryce Harper. This is just the fact that he realized that this was costing people. There were people who put out there that he's on a plane to Toronto. He's signing with Toronto. Done deal. He's on a plane. We had half the country in baseball land tracking a plane,
right,
going to Toronto, and it ended up just being one of the Shark Tank guys that were on there.
That's actually awesome.
The level of craziness that happened on this, simply because this guy wanted to keep it close to the vest, man. This is ridiculous. Like, what? Just let the guy run the process out. Like, I know you guys what do you want him to do? The LeBron James decision thing?
Yeah.
Everybody
let him do his due diligence and make a decision.
Everybody gave LeBron crap for doing that too. And he raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for charity for the decision. And people are getting on him for that. Like, He just wanted to keep this quiet with the teams that were involved. He didn't want a circus. He didn't want a bunch of people showing up at LAX or whatever airport he's going to. And yeah, I think the media forced him to make a decision before he was ready because he realized this was affecting other people's lives. And the fact that he had to apologize for making the biggest, most important decision of his life.
Yeah.
And because he took 2 weeks.
It's almost $1 billion decision.
Yeah. Can you believe that? And all because I felt like he felt forced because of the media. I just think that's a bad look on the national media. A lot of people were throwing out crazy stuff when nobody knew. And you know what? Thanks to Jeff Passan for simply not saying anything.
Yeah.
To me, I just think that was a big mistake from the national media. And I hope we learned something from that one because that was just absolutely disgusting. Didn't make us look good at all.
Right.
Anyway, so what's your question?
Okay. Final question. Wrap it up. Will Shohei only hitting for the Dodgers next year make them a contender, or will you need his pitching to actually be a favorite to win it all?
No, I don't think so. I think him just simply being in the lineup will definitely make them a contender. One, because they actually leapfrogged the Braves as being the top potential one to win the World Series this year.
Okay.
Just with that signing alone, the power rankings put the Dodgers ahead.
Just with his bat.
Just with his bat alone.
Okay.
Because a lot of people are talking about, the Dodgers need pitching. Yeah, absolutely. They did need pitching. But with this contract, they're going to be able to get pitching.
They're also real close to signing Yamamoto. You heard it here first.
And they're actually going to be making a trade too, to get, they're trading for starting pitching, and
knowing they have a role to fill with Ohtani out.
Yeah. And think about this way, both the Braves and the Dodgers went out pretty pathetically in the first round of their playoffs this year.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't because of pitching.
Go Braves.
Yeah. It wasn't because of pitching. The Dodgers had the top three of Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts were just one for like 20 something. Yeah. One for 20, whatever. You think if Shohei Ohtani has 4 at-bats in those games that he's going to go over? The Dodgers didn't. I mean, yeah, obviously with the Kershaw's game 1 start, they got blown out of the water.
But they went to Kershaw in that game, man.
He was hurt, man. He just had surgery. His shoulder was jacked up.
Absolutely crazy.
That was 2 years overdue. He needed to have that surgery about 2 years ago. But yeah, if I don't think him hitting only, the Dodgers are not going to need him as a pitcher in order for them to be effective. He still is. I would argue he's still the best hitter in Major League Baseball too.
Right.
Yeah. So you got the player who won the Cy Young in the American League last year, and you got the number 2, number 3 in the National League MVP backing him up. Oh, by the way, they still have Max Muncy, who had 36 bombs last year. Behind him, you got Will Smith, one of the best hitting catchers in baseball. And the list goes on and on and on, man.
Yep.
So, no, I don't think you need him as a pitcher.
You know who I'm going to predict to win the World Series?
Who do you got?
The Royals.
That's right.
They got Will Smith.
They got Will Smith. It's done. It's over. Place your bets, guys. Not a betting channel.
No, not a betting channel, but if you put money on Will Smith, I do want to cut.
That's right. Exactly. All right, folks. Well, once again, thank you all for tuning in here. This is keep in mind, folks, this is a podcast. So if you're watching this on YouTube or one of our shorter videos that we put out on YouTube, the full video is available in its entirety on everything we talked about underneath our playlist labeled podcast. It's also available wherever you get your podcasts.
Yep. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like it, make sure you share it, make sure you subscribe. We appreciate all the engagement. This last couple of weeks has been fantastic.
Absolutely.
It's been super fun. You guys have been awesome.
Absolutely. With all that said, folks, once again, thank you all for tuning in. My name is Darren. That is AJ. And this has been the DNA Sports Recap.
Till next time.